I need to get to the newsmaker line. Catherine Mars is on with us, and she is with the Mars College Admission Advisors Group. And as we go throughout the day, if you'd like to find out more of what we talk about, Mars has two R's, so it's MARRSCAA. That's MARRSCAA.com. Let's bring her up on the newsmaker line. Shall we do that? Catherine, good afternoon to you, and thanks for your patience as we had to walk through some things there.
Oh, yes. I feel so bad, and I hope we all stop and pray for those people.
You're exactly correct, ma'am. You are very much correct. So, Catherine, you deal a lot with people in college, people trying to get to college, parents that are concerned about getting their young people into college. And there are good schools and bad schools, and some of them are private and some of them are public. But all of them, if they do college loans, starting Saturday, it looks like we're going to have a change in some interest rates. And so people that do student loans, Catherine, they're ready to pay more money.
Right. Even though it doesn't seem like a lot of money, like 2/3 of a percentage point, but it is a lot of money because when you take it over a 4-year period, it could be as much as $1,600 or $2,000 to $2,500 a year, at that point of interest incurred, additional interest. So what I really try to stress to students is to really take into consideration not the name of the school they go to, but if the school has the major that they want and can get a degree there versus going to a name school that's very expensive. Because colleges look at, when you go to grad school or you go out into the world of employment, it's not where you went to college, it's what you did when you got there.
Well, and as somebody that's in the business world as I am, a lot of times, Catherine, and this is not to diminish anybody's degree or where it came from, that degree really does open the door for your first job. But if I'm hiring you 5 years later, my bigger concern at that point is what did you do for your last employer? Right, absolutely. But, most employers expect today, if it is a relatively new graduate, they're going to want to see the GPA. They're going to want to see what kind of leadership they did in college, what kind of participation they had. So students really need to pay really close attention to what they do when they get to college versus where they go. A lot of students are going to have graduate degrees, and so taking on debt as an undergrad is not necessarily a good idea. Mm-hmm. Especially if students are coming out with an average debt load of $37,000. Yeah, let's talk about that. Last year, $37,172 on average, which means some people are coming out with enormous amounts on their back.
Absolutely. And it really is not a good idea. And so we try to suggest alternatives. So not only do you look at colleges that would give you merit scholarships possibly for good grades and test scores, but we also say there's nothing wrong with going to the community college in your area as long as you commit to the 2 years and you get an associate's degree. It's so much easier to transfer from a 2-year college if you have the degree versus having gone there just for a year of credits to get them out of the way.
And Catherine, I can't tell you how many times, and I know that in your counseling with young people and their parents, I know you hear this a lot. I talk sometimes to kids that are in their second full year at a major university, IU or Purdue or Notre Dame or wherever they're at, and I say, so what's your major? What is it you're hoping to do? And they say, well, I haven't really decided yet. Okay, you haven't decided at $32,000 a year? I mean, why don't you go to a community school or something, and why don't you get some decisions made, get some of those required courses out of the way. Once you know exactly where your heart is, then decide where you're going to go.
Right, and also it's a reflection on the academic advising. Students at most universities do not have to declare their major until the end of sophomore year. But I tell students all the time, you go and listen to that academic advisor, and if you don't think you're getting what you need, you go to another one. You go and ask for another one. Because the academic advisor can set the path for the student to get all the basics for all kinds of majors, unless it's engineering, and that's more specialized. But students who think they might want to go into engineering should start out on the engineering track. That way, if they change their mind, they haven't lost anything, whereas if they go in as undeclared and they decide they want engineering but didn't tell anyone, they may have to spend an extra year in college in order to get the required credits.
Yeah, Catherine, two numbers that jumped off the page when I was reading the articles to be ready for our time together today. And again, we're talking to Catherine Mars. She's a certified educational consultant and obviously has a great deal of passion and understanding in this field. 5% of student loan holders today, 5%, owe over $100,000, and the total student debt in the U.S. right now is over 1.4 trillion. That's more than the GDP of several countries around the world.
Right. It's also more than any of the credit card debt in the United States.
That's unfathomable to me.
And it's also horrible because look what it's doing to the young people. They're not able to buy homes after they get out of college. They're not able to get married as early. They have to go live with mom and dad again. It's really a very tragic situation.
Is it a safe statement to make, Catherine, that some of these kids are in holes so deep that they may very well never get out of them?
Well, it's possible, but what's really concerning to me is two things. Number one, there have been studies shown, the Bennett hypothesis, for instance, that shows that the more federal aid a college gets, a university gets, the higher the tuition will be charged. So that's number one. I'm not sure. Back in the 70s, it wasn't until the early 80s that they started having federal aid. And so college wasn't expensive at all before that. Mm-hmm. And the other side of that coin is also colleges they don't have any buy-in. They have no skin in the game. A kid gets a loan, and they right now, all they care about is getting the kid enrolled. So I wish so much that colleges would start offering classes in how to manage your money or how to manage your debt, or do you understand the interest rates on your loan and when you have to start paying for them. Because a lot of students today, if you ask them, what's the interest rate on your loan? They don't know.
Yeah, which is shocking, isn't it? I mean, that really is shocking. They go buy cars because interest rates are advertised on TV, and yet a student loan that's 5 times more than some of their car loans, and they have no idea what they're paying on it.
Right. Or when it's due. When will everything start being due? Well, as soon as you graduate, you got to start paying it off.
That's exactly right.
Don't remember that.
I encourage everybody to get to her website, marscaa.com. Mars, M-A-R-R-S. It's MARRSCAA.com. MARRSCAA.com, and you'll find a lot of information there. If you're a concerned student right now or a concerned parent, that's a great website for you to go to. And a lot of what you've heard from Catherine today, there's much more there to be found. But Catherine, even if somebody is in a little deep in debt, it's not too early or too late for them to try to do something maybe to alter their situation a bit.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And this affects kids that are entering college this fall and kids that are coming up after that, like the rising seniors this year. They're the ones that are going to face this increase. The kids that already have loans, the loans they already have are not going to be affected by this rate increase.
Right, they're locked. Yeah, and you're right. The earlier the better. I remember, of course, you have to understand, I went to high school back in the dinosaur age, but back then we had civics courses in our senior year of high school where they taught us how to balance a checkbook, how to do our own tax returns, and how to understand loans and what interest rates on loans over time will do to you. And like you said, a lot of kids not even aware what their rate is, and it's like because it's out of sight right now, it's out of mind, and they don't care. Well, they will care.
They certainly will. And I really encourage students to pay attention to their academics starting in 9th grade. If they can do really well in high school, they can find colleges that will pay them to come to their schools.
Yeah, and what a great position. As a parent, what a great position that is. Catherine, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you have a fabulous weekend and a great 4th. Thanks for the insight here. A lot of people need to relook at this.
You bet, and good luck with the rain up there.
Hey, yeah, we're going to need it. Catherine, thank you so much. We appreciate her being part of the Newsmaker line. And again, that's Catherine Mars. It's MARRSCAA. MARRSCAA.com.